Hello.
Welcome back to Open and Honest. We're back after a very long time. So
After a short hiatus.
Yes.
A long hiatus.
Yeah, it was like 2 months. It was definitely 2 months. But
so we're back.
For watching or listening to us today. Let's talk a little bit about why we were gone for so long and why we're back.
First of all, this is going to be on YouTube, right? So we've never posted anything on YouTube. We're kind of going back to the beginning of the whole podcast life. So just for a second, hello, I'm Isa.
And I'm Renee.
And welcome to Open and Honest, brought to you by the Quarantine Room.
Yeah, so if you've never listened to us, like the whole purpose of this podcast is just to be as open and honest as possible, obviously. But we've been friends for like our whole lives, so like 22 years. And in those 22 years, I feel like we haven't had a lot of open and honest conversations. So now is our opportunity to do that. And what better place than on a podcast? So thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy.
All right, so what were we saying? What did you ask?
I asked why we've been gone so long.
Why have we been gone? I think just a lot of stuff started happening. We had the
difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. We lost a lot.
We lost footage,
I guess. Recordings.
Yeah,
like 2, huh?
Yeah, so that was annoying.
That was a bummer, just because that was our footage, like the stuff that we were going off of. We couldn't do anything else. And then you went on vacation, I went on vacation, we came back, and just now we're here.
Yeah, now we're in quarantine, so what better time than to start back up than when all you have to do is be in the house. So we're back, and we're better than ever, and we're about to come with some consistent content for you guys. So hopefully you're tuned in, you're listening, you're ready.
And now you can see us.
Yeah, I can see us, so that's fun too. But let's talk about your vacation, because you went on vacation like right as quarantine started.
Yeah. So
I'm jealous. You have like one last experience to hold on
to.
Now
everybody's been texting me like, you guys should have just stayed there.
Yeah, you should have.
When they come back. But we went to Mazatlan, which I was so excited about. I was a little bummed just because the whole point of it was, it's so weird because I can hear myself so it's like the echo.
You mean my what?
I can hear my talking like a second delayed. So whenever I talk, I hear like my echo.
Oh, is it because your phone, your Instagram live?
No, I think it's because of this.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Just turn down the sound on your thing.
Oh. That sound is off. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay. I was super excited to go just because we were going to be with my brother. I was going to see my mom. No, it's this. But they couldn't end up going. So a ton of stuff happened with like my brother's situation. He was supposed to drive down to San Diego, then to TJ to fly out since he moved to Humboldt. And he was going to come with a bunch of like not a bunch, but his friend and his friend's family. And they all kind of started backing out one by one. And so he couldn't come anymore either. And then my mom is in La Paz and she couldn't end up going. So the whole reason that this trip was planned fell through, but it's okay. Still went, saw my friends, saw my family. But we left like right when people were starting to get a little bit crazy about everything. When everybody was telling you like, okay, like now you have to follow the protocols, like wash your hands after everything, sanitize after everything, face mask, don't go unnecessary places, all that.
Was it like a different feeling though, like over there from like, because obviously like your family's from there, so like was it different like being there, like given the circumstances, even though like it is generally like a vacation spot for you, or it felt the same?
It was a little bit different just because I've never taken anybody. So, I mean, except for Andrea, but it's like, it's different, you know, like we would just go to party and like be with my friends. But it was the first time I took, what's that BP? Is that you? I looked at my phone as if it were coming from there. I don't know.
Oh, the world's ending.
This will remain unsolved. And, but I had never taken like a boyfriend or anybody really, and so that's like my like home. I love going, seeing my friends, family, and so I took Oscar with me, and it was fun. Like my aunt picked us up, and it's not coming from here. I don't know. Anyways, staying at my, that's the only like big difference I felt. Usually I would stay at my aunt's house when we would go, and this time we stayed at like their apartment, so it was just us, and I got to show him. It was fun though because it made me be like a tourist. So I had 3 days to do everything I wanted to do to like show him around. So like go to the beach, be at the pool, go on the hike, ride bikes on the boardwalk, like watch the sunset, go to like my favorite restaurants. So there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do that we basically did everything that I really wanted. So that's like the good thing. He's the same. He's very like go, 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 go. So we weren't just like sitting around like doing nothing. But yeah, I mean, of course, because of that also, I wasn't like with my friends the entire time. So I went to dinner with them the first night. And then the next day we were at the beach for a little bit, and that's it. So that was like the only really different thing. You know, I used to go and party every single day that I was there. And it was like the opposite of that, but it was good because it was really relaxing. And like I got to do everything I said I was going to do, see everybody I was going to see. So it was perfect. It was like a good low balance.
Yeah, and you got it like right before you had to be like locked in the house, which is nice, and I'm jealous. And
but my friends were like, when I got there, Dani, she was like, yeah, that her mom had told her that like, oh, don't hug Isa and Oraveses because I was coming from San Diego, so I was gonna be infected. Isn't that? I was like, you have not seen me in a year and a half. Better hug me. And I mean, of course, like you did, but now because I was coming from California.
Yeah. Honestly, don't take offense because literally when I like see people now, I'm like, hi, hi friends. I'm like, nope.
No, yeah.
Like these days, you get one cough around me, then I'm out. Like you better get it all out on the first cough. Yeah, no, ma'am.
What have you been? How was your trip? Because you went 1 week before all of this happened too.
Yeah, my trip was amazing. I went to New Orleans, and New Orleans was definitely like on my bucket list of places. Like I love like southern states. So like I was so excited to go to New Orleans and just eat all the food, like seafood, everything. So I was so excited, and like I guess I was a little nervous because like I was going with a friend like I've never traveled with. So first of all, like a lot of people are flaky. So I was like worried, like, you know, are you gonna flake on me? Like when this is somewhere like I actually really want to go, and I'm like big on going on trips and stuff. But he followed through. And then like he, you know, he was a good time, whatever. And then going with like 2 people that I didn't know, I was also worried about that because you don't know, like, especially like there were 2 other girls, like how girls are gonna be together. But it was, you know, like they were super chill. So I was really happy that I went and like had a good experience. I met like a ton of people out there. Actually, one of the people that I met in New Orleans came out and visited in San Diego. So that was really cool. But yeah, like it was a good experience. But yeah. It was definitely a good experience. I'm glad I went. I definitely would go again.
What was your favorite thing?
Just like walking on Bourbon Street and all like I know like just all the like black people, like because in San Diego you don't see that many black people, but like it was like so like it was just like Black people having fun. I don't know. I just loved it. Like the vibes. Like I was just like here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. Walking down Bourbon Street, drinking, like fun.
The only thing I really know about New Orleans is from Princess and the Frog.
So like the swamps and stuff. We did like none of that. Literally all we did was like eat, drink, and walk.
What did you eat? Like what kind of food? A lot of Cajun stuff?
We had like sauteed shrimp, oysters. I had like these bacon rack shrimp, chicken, just all sorts of stuff. Like it was just, oh my God. Like the sauteed shrimp, like Issa, when I tell you like the best shrimp of my life, we waited like 2 hours in line for this shrimp.
What?
It was so good. It
It's like
was so good.
those places where you just wait in line and you have to have snacks while you wait because by the time
Yeah. No,
it's
yeah. Like, well, because
Morning Glory.
the thing is this was the second time we had tried to go to this place. Like we had went at night for dinner, like to try to go there, and it was closed. And so we went back the next day and we passed by it, and the line was wrapped around the building. We're like, nah, like we're hungry, like we can't. But then we had went to other places and they all had a line, so we're just kind of like, okay, if we're gonna wait in a line for somewhere, like let's wait in the line for the place that like the locals recommended to us.
Yeah.
So we went back, we waited in the line. The food was bomb, and so like it was like I had like crab legs. You said what?
Well worth your 2-hour wait.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I was at Disneyland, but it's really fine.
You were at Disneyland, or like you were in Vegas when you were walking around with the
those things. Yeah, it was. You like definitely have to go. It's like one of the things like on your list that you need to like.
I want to go.
We gonna make it happen. Okay.
Talk about like just briefly, because the way that you went, you made it a lot cheaper for you to fly.
Yeah, definitely. Like our flight round trip was like $90 because we flew from San Diego to Houston, and then we drove from Houston to New Orleans, which was like a 5-hour drive, which is fine for us because that's like here to like Vegas, which people do all the time in San Diego. So it wasn't bad, and my ass was asleep. So I really had no complaints there, and I saved a lot of money. Yeah, because the flight was regularly like $500, so it was definitely like the better deal.
Yeah, I mean, $500 to like what, 150 max, like when you pitch in for gas and everything. But
yeah, it was, and their gas is way cheaper, so it was just kind of like $10 was like half a tank.
What?
Yes, dude.
That's like in Kentucky, my dad says that their gas is like $1 to $2 right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like I was just like, oh yeah, here, take my money compared to like $500 for a flight. That's way better.
All right, well, let's talk about what this episode is kind of going to be on. What everybody's talking about, the only thing people seem to know or care about, other than my favorite Tiger King.
That man is crazy.
I love him.
That man is crazy. Like, crazy. Yeah, they all. Okay, but the thing is like when you think about like the big cat industry or whatever, like you never think it's gonna be that much drama. Like how much drama can you have over lions, like and tigers? Like I'm lost.
Oh, it's so cute, like homie. No.
Yeah, but they have so much drama. Murders, marrying people underage, like 3 wives. You said
it's so much. Too much.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Before we get into this, things celebrities said, we have to stay true to our curriculum of the open and honest way.
Our curriculum. Okay.
You have one?
Well, I do have one. So basically, I was on live the other day. Basically, my favorite thing to do in quarantine right now is just to watch other people's lives. Like, so many celebrities have been getting on live and just spilling tea or like adding like regular people in their lives with them. So like my favorite thing, like when a like notification pops up, like I'm always on everybody's live. But basically, there was a live with I clicked out of it now, but it was with LeBron James and what is that man's name? I can't think of his name right now. But basically, they were saying how they were on a crew, or like on a, it was Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James, and it was, or sorry, Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade, and they were talking about how LeBron James saved Carmelo's life on like, I guess they were on like a yacht, and like he like jumped out into like the ocean or whatever, and like they were in caves and like swimming and all sorts of stuff, and then like the current started taking Carmelo Anthony. And so so LeBron James like jumped in like Michael Phelps and like came and like saved him, and like he was swimming back with like one arm. But I don't know, I just thought it was like super interesting, because I'm like, we never hear like these like candid stories of celebrities, and I feel like right now we're like seeing them as regular people, like they're stuck in the house just like us. And so yeah, I just thought it was like interesting little story.
Little tidbit. That's cool though, because you wouldn't assume that they're gonna be like, I mean, saving people, let alone,
or like just like bomb swimmers, like, you know, like you kind of get good to like jump out. Because listen, I love all my friends, but if something like that was happening, I am not the one that's gonna save you. I'm just not. Like, we would both be out there stranded. Yeah, but I'm not a swimmer, so we both be just like suffering out there. We would be. No. Like, remember that beach we went to in Hawaii, like with all those crazy waves, and how I just sat out because like I was like, nope.
It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a hard no.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot. Like, these waves look crazy.
All right, mine is about what I was just talking about. Tiger King Joe Exotic filed an appeal to overturn his 22-year sentence.
No.
No. Listen.
No. No.
This is gonna be, remember how I was with the Aaron Hernandez case?
Yeah, over here trying to be a little lawyer.
I just want somebody to sentence Carol, because I'm just annoyed by the fact, I really want to talk about this. I don't get the fact that this woman is doing all of this stuff to get him into jail and be like an awareness for the cat kingdom, when she does the same thing. She profits, makes money off of them, has them in tiny ass cages. She was the first one to start breeding them and sell them, and there's even videos of her like teaching you how to keep these animals as house pets, and here she is being like the big advocate. You're just as bad as all of them.
Yeah, that part of it does make me mad. It's like one thing if you're like trying to be an advocate, like it's cool, you're in Congress, like all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, like you still have like tigers and lions in little cages for people to come and see. Like, yeah, they're not holding them, but like, what's the difference? Like, people are still paying for admission. You have all these volunteers that are working for you for free. You have hella money. Like, it's just not adding up.
Yeah, because like the other guy, he pays, the one who has 1 million wives, the polygamist. Mm-hmm. He pays his workers $100 a week. That's it, $100, and they live and breathe, sleep, sweat tigers. And then, so his is $100. Joe Exotic pays them $150. So $50.
That's like $15 a day or something. $100 a week.
Crazy. Like, you can't survive. That's actually how much I'm gonna get from unemployment. Isn't that
$100 a week?
$60 a week. But that's another thing I want to get into after, because I have numbers that I want to talk about, because I'm a little confused. But and then Carol, hers are volunteers. These people do 2 years of free service to become like master keepers or whatever, lose Christmas, holidays, everything for free. And she profits all of it. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. Like, it literally doesn't make sense. That's the whole thing about it, is it literally doesn't make sense. Like, and like for them to like have that rivalry, like where he's like shooting like a fake dummy doll of her like on the show, like it's just crazy. Like, I'm not gonna be able to act that much of a fool over anybody. Like, they look crazy. Like, they're like back and forth. Like, but I definitely like wasn't expecting that from.
No, neither was I. Like in the beginning, the first episode, I was like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. And I'm super into like crime shows, series, documentaries, everything. And so when we started watching it, I kind of started putting it together, but I was like, this can't be like a crime documentary. Like, what the hell? And then once it started getting into it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm into this. Like, I need to know what happens. But it's just so crazy that there's so many, like, what made me think, what I was thinking about after was like, there's so many sub societies and like communities that you have no idea. They're all over the world. It's like, they're like cults, you know? But like the whole zoo world, like, that's a whole world industry that we will never have any clue about. Like if it wasn't for this, we would have no idea. And of course there's like campaigns to like save the tigers, but unless you're really into that, you would have no idea that that's even like on, you know?
No, yeah, it's crazy. Like, and I wonder like how many other like industries are like that, that there's like that kind of rivalry within it that like we don't know about. Like I literally had no idea who Joe Exotic was like before this whole thing happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it weren't for something like this, we would have absolutely no idea. So you can only imagine how much more things are like.
But you want to know what that makes me think about? Like really how much like media controls like the things that we care about and that we're talking about. Like we would have never been talking about Joe Exotic if this Netflix show wasn't made. You know what I mean? Same thing, we would have never been talking about Aaron Hernandez if they didn't do a whole series on him. Or the When They See Us, we would have never been talking about the Central Park Five. A lot of people didn't even know who the Central Park Five were. Like
I had heard of it, I never knew what it was.
That's crazy. Like that's crazy. And so like it makes me like so nervous because it's like a lot of stuff is just being fed to us. You know, it's like, okay, what's on the top 5 list when we go on these news pages? And like, this is the stuff that we're supposed to care about. You know what I mean? But like, who's the one that's controlling like what's being put in front of us? Because the you know what I mean? Like a lot of people aren't out there looking for like stories of like Joe Exotic story. Like, you know what I mean? Like you and me aren't going to go looking for the next Joe Exotic. Like, so it's like, who decides like what we're going to see and like the things that are going to become important to us? That's a lot of power.
It is a lot of power. And like the other thing that I was seeing about, I mean, it sounds really stupid, but I mean, I guess not stupid, but if I'm like in TJ, if I'm home, the TV is only on if it's like Netflix at night. In the morning, I never turn on the TV, and my mom is the only one who's like she's really big on like watching the news. So if she's home, then okay, like I'll get maybe like 2 minutes of the news, and that's it. If I'm here, like it's not like the first thing I do, I wake up and I go turn on the news. Like, no, I've never turned on the TV like that here, you know, since I was tiny. And so the way that we get our news is really different than obviously I think our parents' generations. Like they turn to the TV or they turn to the newspaper, to like different outlets to get that information than us. So like for me, I follow a ton of like news accounts, and that's what I'm saying, like it sounds kind of dumb, like very Gen Z of me, but like I go to Instagram and I follow news accounts, and so that's where I get some stuff. Or on the news app on my phone, like that's where you'll get different stories. Or even what's like kind of different is even like BuzzFeed posts so many things about like the news that you would never have any idea. So like I feel like if it weren't for those kinds of accounts also, I really would be very even like more ignorant to a lot of like news topics. And I say ignorant because that's what it is. Like if it weren't for those outlets feeding it to me, I would have no idea about so much stuff happening, you know?
Like with that, like it's super like problematic in a way, because a lot of times like there was a day and time where like people went out and they got the stories and they did the research and they talked to this person and talked to that person, and then they figured this, you know what I mean? And it was this whole process. But now it's like, oh well, BuzzFeed posted that this and this and this and this, so we're CBS and we're going to pick up the story and we're going to post it, and we're Fox and we're going to pick up the story and we're going to post it. And it's like a bunch of just like taking information from other people and then changing it up, so you never really know if like the things that you're reading are like accurate, because
that's
nobody is
gets skewed because there's so much stuff. And like one outlet will take one, and even if they just change one sentence, it can change the entire message of the.
Yeah. And then also like who's writing it, like if they have like biases towards like whatever the situation is.
Yeah, that's true. Like there's always going to be a bias, and that's like the other thing. So on if you follow like another two of my favorites, Hollywood Unlocked or like the Shade Room, and they have a ton of different
like gossip accounts.
I know, but like the Hollywood Unlocked and even Shade Room will post stuff like from the actual news.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like if it weren't for like a lot of these accounts, I would have no idea, because they do post a lot of stuff that's like, oh, like this is actually useful for me to know maybe. But like you said, like what is their credential? Like what makes them accredited to even be saying this shit?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe take it with a grain of salt. So
no, yeah, I definitely like am starting to have like an interest in like that side of things. Like my major was like communications journalism and writing, and so like now that like, you know, I'm gonna say it, I don't have a job, you know, I lost my job. I'm definitely like exploring different like outlets, and like I would love to get into like that space of things.
yeah, definitely. Just I think you would be really good at that.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the universe has in store for me, but I'm definitely like taking my time to figure it out. But I feel like that's a good segue into like where we
just now that you've like said it, how do you feel since that happened? Like what has changed about your like mindset, maybe about working right now? Like what do you want to do when all of this over? Any updates?
Yeah, so like for the people who don't know, I was laid off because of the coronavirus. You know, a lot of people from my company got laid off. At first it was 17 people. Now it's probably up to like 23, and I'm sure that it's going to continue to grow. Mind you, my company was about 50 people. So right now almost half the people have been laid off. And as this thing continues, I'm sure that they're going to have to continue to lay people off. So, you know, I was told that my job was safe when this was happening. So I think like that's kind of where a little bit of frustration for me came, because I allowed myself to get comfortable in the fact that like this couldn't happen to me. Like I couldn't be laid off. I was like untouchable in a way. And then also I felt comfort in like somebody else telling me something like, oh, your job is safe, you know? So like, I didn't worry about it. But at the end of the day, like nobody knows if your job is safe. Like that's, so many things can happen. Like where like people lose their job, you know what I mean? So I feel like I learned a lesson from that, like not to get too comfortable in spaces, and like also to like take those things with like a grain of salt, because nobody ever truly knows if your job is safe. But I definitely was upset like when I first heard the words, like, you said what?
So I was just gonna say, and even like those people, if they like say like, I guarantee that you won't lose your job, in a matter of days that can change.
Exactly. So like that was like the part for me, like I found like comfort in that, like, oh, you know, I'm not going to lose my job, like I must have done something right, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like nobody knows. So I definitely was like upset when I first found out. Like I kind of was just like, you know, on the phone, like very like monotone and like didn't really say much. But when I got off, I just bawled my eyes out. I was just like, wow, like I had put so much time and energy into this job, and in a second it was gone, you know what I mean? And like I was in the process of asking for a raise, and so like it was like a couple weeks, and it was supposed to be followed up like basically a week ago, and then the whole coronavirus thing happened, so it kind of got pushed off again, and I never really got an answer about my raise. And so that was another frustrating part for me. And so I just bawled. Like I came into my mom's office and I was just bawling. Like I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? But literally, like when I say within like 5 or 10 minutes, it stopped. Like it was just like the emotion was like gone.
Yeah.
I like was bawling like probably like so hard, and then I just stopped crying because I was like, you know what? Like you've said that you deserve more. Now's your opportunity to go. yeah, like now is your opportunity to go and get more for yourself. Like, so there's nothing to be sad about. Like, you can sit here all day and like cry for yourself and be upset and feel bad for yourself and say, oh, poor me. But somebody has taken this same situation that you're in right now and they've used it to win for themselves. So it's just like, for me, I was just like, no, like, you're not going to let this be like the end. You're not going to let this be the thing that tears you down. Like, I've lost a job before and I've come back. So like, no, this is not what we're going to do. Like, now's the time to figure out what you really truly want to do and put everything into that. So that's where I am right now.
No, and that makes sense. And I'm so happy that you're like in that headspace now, because that is hard. Like, even though you knew that you deserved more and like wanted more and everything, like it's hard to take that step by yourself. I think like quitting a job or just even thinking about it is scary. Like, should I quit? What happens if I do? And so when you don't have a choice, it kind of makes that, I mean, the decision is made for you. And you just have to think about like, okay, what's next? Like all the things that I said I would do if I didn't have this job, if I, was on my own doing all the things that I wanted, what is it that I would do? And now you're at that place, not by choice, of course, but I mean, at the same time, it's a blessing in disguise. So.
But yeah, that's the thing is like, I don't think that I would have done it. Like, even though I knew like I deserved more and I wanted other things,
like,
I
you have a
constantly
choice, so
said,
now you have to do more.
exactly. Like, I constantly said, like, I want to change, like, I want to move, I want to, like, I've explored so many things. I'm like, one day I want to go to the military, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, I just needed something different for myself, because like what I was doing was like, I was comfortable there, I liked my coworkers, but it wasn't like feeding my soul. You know what I mean? And so right now I'm like in a place where like I want something that feeds my soul. And I don't know if that's going to be another 9-to-5 job. And so that's super scary for me, because like I legitimately yesterday was looking at how much it is for an apartment in New York. And I like was like looking at jobs in New York and like looking at the cost of living in New York, and was just like, I need to get out of like this comfort of San Diego, and just like, even if I fail and like it doesn't work out and like everything goes to shit, like I need like that, like I just need to go. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, especially like as an only child, like I'm very used to like everything not being handed to me, but like being there for me. You know what I mean? It's like my parents' only focus was always me, because I'm their only child. Like, not to say that like other parents don't care about their kids because they have multiple kids, but like obviously like your attention is split, your money is split, everything is split. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it was always just like their attention was all on me, their money was all on me, everything was all on me. And so like I don't think I've truly understood what it is like to like start from nothing and like build it for myself. Not that I haven't been hardworking or any of that. Like, I started working at 16. Like, I like, I think I'm hardworking, but like I don't know what it's like to like struggle in a sense. And I'm not saying like I want to put myself in a situation where like I'm struggling, but I want to put myself in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, so that I can grow as a person.
Makes sense. And I definitely feel what you're coming from, just because I think being in the opposite situation than what you're describing, I can like put myself, I at least I try to put myself in your shoes and like, okay, like what are you trying to find and like going through? I think in that sense, because opposite of you, like I'm not an only child. My parents, I don't live with my parents really for the most part. I haven't for a few years. We've listened in other episodes. My dad left 6 years ago. My mom, for like the last 3 years, her work is in Mexico, so I'm alone most of the time. So it's like just like the comfort of other people being around, or even just being by myself, which is like totally fine too. But it's like the complete opposite, because I'm used to not having my family around, or like, those close people by me. Yes, they still will support me financially if I need it. I still have a roof over my head, like I'm not missing anything. But that like connection that you're like talking about, mine, none of my family's here. And then
So
same
do you feel like you've grown in, like, do you feel like you've grown in that time?
course, like it's like, because it pushes you to do things that you wouldn't before. Like priorities shift a little bit, and you just, not like you learn to fend for yourself, but I always think about this, like growing up we have this stigma, like I'm gonna grow up and my family's gonna always like stay intact, my family's gonna be perfect, and like you have this picturesque, idea of what a family's supposed to look like. And then now I look back and I'm like, that's like nothing what my family looks like, you know like this idea that you grow up with in first grade, and like, oh, your family's going to grow up together and you're going to be happily ever after, and I'm going to have my mom here next to me for the rest of my life, and my brother and my dad and everybody. And then at 15, like slowly those little pieces started chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, to now it's just me, you know and so it's
Yeah.
kind of like that whole fairy tale idea of like the family is, no, it's not a fairy tale, it doesn't exist. Like everybody's life looks very different and everybody's family dynamic looks very different, and like that's kind of like also what I'm thankful for, is that I have so many to look at and like see and experience, that I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Like that may be my story, but like your family is still like, to me, like fairy tale, like perfect husband wife still together. You're, no, I mean, as I say, you're perfect, but like, you know what I mean. And then like, just lots of different like family models that you can kind of pick and choose pieces of each one, that's going to form one day like how I form my family, and like how I think my family will evolve into again. So I don't know. I think it's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. It's definitely made me like reflect and analyze, forgive, grieve a lot. So like that goes hand in hand. Like I've grieved the loss of this idea of my family, the loss of like my dad or my brother leaving or my mom not being here, but I've also had to like forgive them and forgive myself for like feeling hurt or like left, because it's not my fault, it's not their fault, it's just the way that our cards were dealt, and the way that each of their lives had to go too, because it's not all about me. Like their life doesn't revolve around me, so like whatever they had to do to better their life or like be in a good place, they're gonna do that. And if it doesn't include me being right there with them every step of the way, like so be it. They have to live their lives too and keep learning and evolving, not just me.
Yeah. I think like that's the part that people, I think like don't realize until they get to a certain age. Like your parents aren't always going to be in the same space as you. You know what I mean? Like
where you were when you were 5 years old, they're not going to still be those same parents that they were 20 years ago.
hello, sir.
Hello.
You're in our studio.
Studio audience, everybody.
I thought it was my garage. No, sir, it's the studio. This is the studio. But yeah, like I just feel like I'm like a lot of people have this idea like their parents are always gonna live in the same like city as them or down the street, or you know what I mean? But like for a lot of people that's not reality. And so I feel like I've gotten super comfortable in the fact like I still live in my parents' house. Like all of my childhood friends who I grew up with and like who I, like still talk to, like live 5 minutes from me. You know what I mean? Like, or the people like who I'm like was in relationships with, like I can easily still like reach out to them and it's not bad blood. You know what I mean? So it's just so much comfort, like comfort in my job as well, like, or the job that I had, that like I need something that just makes me so uncomfortable. Yeah. So that I can just like grow. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like there's comfort everywhere. I'm just way too comfortable and I don't like it.
That's good. At least you realize that, and now you have the means of being able to like move forward and do something about it.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I feel like this is like something I've realized like while I've been quarantined. Basically, we're over here having a whole lot of realizations about our life in quarantine, okay? Because we got time. But so yeah, that was like one of the things I realized, like you're just way too comfortable. Like and I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like it's normal like to be comfortable in like your daily life and like your routine and stuff like that. But like in this period, like I've realized like we literally only have one chance to like do this thing. This is our one time, like our one opportunity, and like I want it to like mean something, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I've been like just kind of going back and forth with myself about like what my next step is going to be, but hopefully when this is all over, like I have a better plan for like what I want. But how have like you been feeling during all this?
I was fine up until like 2 days ago, I think. I had like a little, just after like you and I talked about it, about like you losing your job and then me basically losing my job, at least for the time being. um how after, and you asked me, after this, are you gonna like gladly go back to the same place, or what do you want to do? And it kind of just made me fall into like this weird little headspace of like, is that really what I want to do? Is that what I want to keep doing, at least in the same place? But if I don't, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna, do this on the side how I was before, just like home to home? But I don't really want to do that. um Going back to like the spot that's like the safest best, of course, but like, when is that going to happen? Because when it actually opens back up, I feel like all of the, like the business, it's just going to be for, of course, like right now it has to be for the owner so that she can just pay rent and like all of this stuff that's like been building up in the time that we've been closed, not really like to pay an employee, you know what I mean? So that's like
Yeah.
another thing that I'm kind of like, shit. So I don't know. I feel like that's like something that I too have to figure out. Like, what do I want to be doing? Like, if I have to, I'll go back to it just because that's like the thing that I need to do. I need to be able to make money. I need to have something coming in until I figure it out, if it's not like during this time. But I feel like that's like the most like difficult part, just because I do love what I do. I love like getting facials and doing all that. It's just like, I feel like this is such a weird time that's like making you second guess everything that you have been doing, I guess. So that's like one thing that's like been on my mind, I think. And then like that same day, so like literally had like all of that in my head. And so I was just like talking to my mom about it, and I was like crying because I was so like stressed, just thinking like, is that what I want to do? Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right way? And I know that I'm always going in the right direction. Like, I have no doubt. I have faith. Like, I'm gonna be fine. It's gonna be figured out. It's just kind of like the in between that's always a little scary. And then, like, I was not freaking out, but I had like a little baby like panic attack because we were talking about like the actual virus itself. And as you know, I have really bad asthma as it is. And this virus literally attacks just your lungs. And so like if you get bronchitis, pneumonia, and like complications. So I was just getting super scared because because like when my anxiety, so like during this time, like my anxiety is a little high. Um, it makes me need my inhaler more than usual. So like
Mhm.
your mood, like your emotions affect that. And so like I've been having to reach for it a little bit more than usual. And then of course, just like thinking of that and like the fact that if I get it, it's gonna be even worse for me. I was like, oh my god, I can't get this shit. Like I cannot get this. And then just thinking about like that it's like in Eastlake, that it's like spread near us, and people are still outside. Like people are still going around their days. Like stores are still packed. Okay, you have to stand 6 feet away from each other when you're in line or to get inside the store. But once you get inside the store,
Yeah, there's people right next to you.
you know what I mean? It's like kind of intuitive. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of freaking me out. So there was just one day that like I was like very like low energy like that. But other than that, I think I've been fine and like been able to deal with it really well, just because I consider myself like a sort of introvert. Like I'm okay with being a homebody. I don't really go out. So being in like my own little space, like just with like the few people day to day, it's no different for me. But like
Yeah.
someone like you who's used to being with people and like constantly on the go and like doing stuff every single day here and there, like how do you think that the like isolation quarantine situation has been?
I like will have one of just like breakouts of anger and like sadness because I miss people. Like I genuinely like miss like seeing my friends. Like I miss like going to dinner, like going to get drinks, like going to the club, like going to the mall, just like running errands. Like I miss like seeing people, you know? So like even on my walks, like I get so excited when I pass somebody 6 feet away, of course, and I'm like, hi, good morning, like whatever. But like I genuinely just like miss seeing people and like talking to people and like even like going in the office was like a big part of my day, like, you know, getting up, like getting in the office, getting my coffee, like, you know, going back to my desk, getting up in the afternoon, going for a walk, like talking to my coworker, you know what I mean? Like, and so like all of that, like my routine is gone, like going to cycling, like going to go to the gym, like seeing people, like that whole routine is gone. So it's been like hard for me, but I don't think like as hard as I thought it would be. Like I still like talk to my friends like on FaceTime a lot, or like do like virtual happy hours, or yeah, I even went to like a virtual like healing circle the other day where
There's
we
one
just
at 3 p.m. we should do.
oh yeah, send it to me. But yeah, like just a lot of like just trying to do different things to just kind of stay busy. And like to be honest with you, I needed like just time to like center myself in a lot of ways, like to just be like by myself and like figure out what I want. So like this was good timing, but like when they let me outside, I'm I'm outside. Like I'm not like you guys thought I was outside before. Like I'm gonna be
That's what I
outside.
was gonna ask. Do you think this is gonna make you go out more than you used to like catch up, or are you gonna be good just like riding the wave, chilling, going out here and there, or like is it gonna be you don't know what hit you world of Renee for
No.
you?
So definitely the second one, because like so like not I don't even feel like before this like I was going out that much. It was more like
You know what I'm trying to say.
yeah, like I was just like busy, you know? And so like even like since I've been in quarantine, I'm like, okay, like let's when this is over, like let's get a house in Palm Springs and let's stay for the weekend. And then we talked about like our LA trip. Like I'm just over here like yeah, like I'm over here just like planning like what I'm going to be doing. I think that this definitely made me realize like life is short and just to like enjoy it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like you want to go to dinner, let's go to dinner. Like you want to go out, let's go out. Like I just want to enjoy my life. And for me personally, it's hard for me to do that inside the house. That's just me though. You know, some people like to be in the house, just not
I
just not
don't, it's not that I like to be in the house. I'm just used to doing stuff like by myself or like with like a very select few. So that's like why I think it's so easy for me because like
yeah,
my
but it's not
activities
that you
were
don't
going
like
before.
it's not that you don't like being around like big groups, is it or no?
No,
Okay.
that's not my routine at all. The only like big groups I'm around is like at the gym.
But do you think like this will push you to like go out more, like or no?
No,
Okay.
because I did all that. It's not missing from my life.
But like not even like I mean like to the club and stuff. Like just like, you know,
Oh. No,
like
okay. Well, in that sense, yeah, like I mean, like going to dinner, like hanging out with like people, like with you.
yeah, just like doing more like
No, yeah,
outside,
yeah,
you know.
I'll do that, but like it's not gonna make me like go party.
Yeah. Oh, well, can't
That's
relate.
what I meant. Like it's not gonna make me like want to go to the club or like want to go to like party more, like to a bar, like because I still go to like a bar here and there. Like I always go out like to dinner. So like that sense, it's like the same for me. It'll be like normal. You know what I mean? But like definitely like I miss you guys. Like I miss like going over and like seeing you. I miss going to spin with you and like same like I miss like Andrea, we would work out like every other day together. Hello. um so we were saying hi. So like stuff like that I miss, but it'll just be interesting when all of this is over. And I feel like people aren't taking it seriously. Like we like will drive like to his parents' house or something, and there's so many people outside on the road. Like I'm like, did nobody get the memo?
No, yeah, but you want to know like what's actually like, so yesterday I got so mad, like I was like screaming, like just like I was pissed. So like I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna like get emotional right now, because like for me it's so hard for me to understand like what. So like they keep saying like we're out of like masks, we're out of gowns, we're out of all these freaking things, right?
Or like in hospitals and stuff.
Yeah, like you're telling me that the government has a couple $1 trillion just laying around to give people money, right? But they don't have enough money to say, hey, you 5 factories need to start making masks. Here's some money.
Or yeah, or even just like buying them themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just, to me, like, I'm not understanding. Like, you're saying we're out of stuff. Like, how? How are we out of stuff? We literally have so many factories in the United States. You're the government. Tell these people they need to be making masks.
Yeah, because like how like the government's not doing anything like on that area, but then I've like read about hundreds of like tattoo artists and like private healthcare workers that they're having to shut down their practices because they're not getting any clients or anything during this time. So they've given away all of their supplies to people and like to hospitals. So like they're having to give their own inventory that they're gonna eventually, if they open, they're gonna have to buy back.
That's what I'm saying. And then like the other day, like I went on my Instagram and I've seen so many people making masks in their living room
To send.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, the government like can't pay somebody to make some masks. You got people in their living room, like it's you know what I mean? Like that shit got me so mad. So like I was yelling, like I was like, I just don't understand this. I am sick of being in the house. Like I was going nuts. Like I was like, this is not okay. Like that shit just pisses me off. Like I just feel like the president, because I'm not even gonna go there. But I just feel like the president like isn't taking this seriously enough. Like he's like, oh, we're doing a great job. We're doing a great job. We're doing.
No,
Oh,
I have the numbers right here. We literally, the US is at 125,443 infected. Italy is at 97,000. China's at 81. So
like, what, sir? Like what? We're doing a great job. Like yes, our healthcare professionals are doing a great job, like caring for everybody. But what are you doing? What are you contributing besides saying we're doing a great job? Oh, America's doing such a great job. Like da 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 da. Like no, dude. Like you need to do better. You need to do better.
yeah. And just yesterday, there's 488 more people infected in San Diego.
It just stresses me out. It literally just stresses me out. Like I can't even like. I really can't. Like, and then the other thing about it is like I read this article and it was like how China like had started to open up everything, like they like were opening restaurants, their metro, and then they started seeing the numbers go up again. So I'm just like, okay, so once we get to a point where like we can go outside again and they start letting us out, like it's just gonna go up again. So like when does it really ever stop?
I don't know. That's true. That's even more scary to think about, that like right now numbers aren't going up because we're inside, but once we're allowed to go outside again, people are starting to be infected. There's no cure.
Exactly. So you have to somehow make sure that everybody in the United States doesn't have it. And you're saying there's not enough test kits, and you're saying there's not enough masks, and there's not, like, I'm just like, that's the part I'm not understanding. Like we have all this money, like why don't we have more test kits? Why don't we have more masks? Why don't we have more this and that? Like I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't know.
And I might be ignorant. I might be completely ignorant to the situation, and there's, a logical reason as to why. But when I saw, so like there's like the company who makes the ventilators or whatever, and I guess somebody was 3D printing them, and the company who makes the ventilators was like, if you continue to do that, like we're gonna sue you. Like what?
And
People
just
are crying.
well, it's like how what's his name? Elon Musk. He's like those like the same like ventilators. He like took them out of like factories. I don't know where or out of why he had them, but he sent a ton like to hospitals like nationwide or something. Like I read something like that. Like him of all people, I'm like, why do you have so many ventilators? But like the actual ventilator companies won't do shit about it.
And then even how a lot of people are saying like they can't get tested and stuff, when
Mm-hmm.
like all of these celebrities and NBA players who like aren't like they're asymptomatic are getting tested. It's like it doesn't make sense to
Like they're
like
worth more. They're more valuable. So like if they have it, but if like a regular civilian has it, you doesn't.
like if it's a rule that like you can't get tested unless you have severe symptoms, then why are all of these celebrities getting tested? Every celebrity knows whether or not they have the coronavirus. But
And
excuse
then
me.
by the time you get tested, if you really do like have symptoms, it's like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're
That's
like, no, you just have the flu, like you're fine, and then when you're not getting better, and then they'll test you for it.
You want to know what I think about? So, like, you know how the flu comes back every year, like at a certain period of time? Like, do you think, like, I wonder if this is going to be something that comes back every year?
I don't think so. I'm like, not to get like on this kind of wave, but like conspiracy theories. Like there's
Oh,
so many things that say that 2020 this was gonna happen, and then it actually did. And so I'm like, what if it's like true? Like once it's eradicated, it's eradicated forever.
I don't know. It's hard for me to believe in conspiracy theories because I'm like, the people who make this, like, they're not immune to it either. You know what I mean? So they're putting their family and their friends in danger of getting the disease or the whatever virus. So like, why would they make it?
I don't know. It's just wild, like to think about that. Like so many pieces of like writing and scriptures say that this is gonna happen like thousands of years ago, and but I don't think it's gonna come back like the pandemic, like a pandemic like that, like a regular flu, because Ebola, has it came
Yeah.
back since then? No. Swine flu, has it came back since like it was a big thing? No. So I think it's like one of those where it's just this certain strand, and once like we get a hand on it, and once it's like eradicated, it's eradicated.
My thing is just like, how do these things even come to be? Like, it came from a bat? Like, what?
Apparently, well, because I've always known that there's like a really, really like strong illness that comes from bats, just because. Well, I just found out that the story was like fake, like it wasn't the real reason as to why they were getting medication, but the underlying reason is the same. Like if you inhale like bat feces, like in bat caves, are dangerous because bats carry like this strand of like a virus, and so if you inhale it and like get it into your system, it stays in your blood system forever. So I don't know if that's like similar to this. So if you get it, if it's in your body, in your system forever, or once you just sweat it out, fever it out, it's gone.
Wait,
Because
so I don't get it. Like, somebody was eating the bat? Like, I don't, is that,
we were in bat caves, and like a cousin of mine, like her and her husband on their honeymoon, they like went in, I don't even know where they were, but went into bat caves, and you basically inhale just like not the feces, but like it was like so concentrated, and that inhales and gets into your system, or like it flies by and like you sniff it, or like open your mouth and get like droplet of something, and it's carrying it, like it stays in your system forever.
oh, that's crazy. But like, I mean, the original, like this virus, like somebody
I don't
ate
know.
the bat, or like, I just feel like I've heard so many different
I haven't
stories,
heard of how
like
it started.
its origin or whatever. Like, it came from a bat. It came from it's some seafood animal, or I don't even know.
I've heard the bat. That's the only thing I've heard.
I've heard like it was like they were fishing for like some sort of animal in the water, and then they cut up the animal or something. I don't even know. Look, I need to go find an article and read about it so I can know and be educated and not be making stuff up. I swear I saw that.
I've never heard of that. Um,
Crazy.
what?
I said it's crazy times right now. Like, this is definitely something like I feel like I'm gonna tell like my kids like about, like, we were stuck in the house for 8 weeks.
This honestly,
What?
I never thought that we would go through this. Like when you read about the bubonic plague and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah, like literally like everything, like nothing is open. Like nothing is open.
Target is still open.
Yeah, that's true. But
I
like honestly feel like it's not the same. Like I was in there like shopping for like I bought this like set that I have on right now. It's like a little workout set and I was like, is this like okay that I'm buying this during like a pandemic? Like is that allowed?
I know. I actually need to go because she's not listening anymore. But for, I'm gonna make like Mia some like dessert or something and just drop it off at the door. But I have to go buy this stuff because they didn't have anything at Sprouts yesterday.
What you gonna make?
Some blondies.
Oh,
With
that sounds
like
good.
M&M.
Look, you can drop some off for me too.
I know. Make a,
We do home delivery.
I know. Maybe
But
maybe that's me calling. That's gonna be my new business after all of this. Home delivery.
honestly, yeah, dude. Like so many like birthday parties and weddings and office parties and whatever. Like people would order it.
Well, I
Start
downloaded TikTok yesterday.
the what?
Did you watch my fried chicken TikTok?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Good work. You know what you should do? Like you should try to start it like during the pandemic. Like say that you do deliveries of like whatever you're making for the day.
That'd be so much work though, and that's a lot of money
Yeah, I mean that's true.
to start.
But like if people pre-order, like you would know.
And then go buy everything or like have like a weekly like menu. Like,
Yeah, well, like I'm sure you have like pictures and videos of things you've made in the past. No. Oh no. Okay. Well, like I would like start with like cookies or something and do like, I don't know, cookie delivery or something.
I have so
You
much
know,
stuff to bake that like every week I've just been baking different stuff.
yeah. So, yeah. Make it, and then like you could do what's it called? Like what are those things like in the neighborhood? Like where you go, you know what I'm talking about? No, you don't. It's like
The lemonade.
what's that thing that we went after we went to that place in Little Italy? We walked in like a little market. Like what are those things called?
Farmers market?
Farmers market. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. It's like what's the name of it?
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be
But
a
yeah,
bad idea, but
we'll get there.
well, this was thankfully the first episode of our YouTube series, Pandemic.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the pen.
All right, well, I enjoyed talking to you for an hour, talking to the live for an hour, you know.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening and tune in to the next episode of Open and Honest. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to discuss or questions you want us to answer, and we'll get to it.
We'll be posting or trying to post daily, Monday through Thursday, new podcasts, videos every day. So stay tuned for those all week long.
Yes, thanks for listening.
See you next time. Bye, guys.